context. Yeah. Have you tried with context memory? Yeah? I asked you to try the same with context. Anyone tried working on? You need to create context, and through context, you need to transport data from parent to child. Try that example. You can already I showed you in shopping app. We can do the same. Now today we have to start building one app. In that we will learn so many new things adding into that. For that first you need to know a concept. Today we will see routing in React. How this concept works. It's a very big topic. So many concepts are involved in this. Level by level we will learn. That means so many techniques, so many concepts are there. We will see. Actually, what is routing? Why we need this routing is generally uh, routing is a technique used in web applications to configure user and SEO friendly URLs, user friendly and SEO friendly URLs. So, routing is one technique. By using this technique, you can configure user friendly URLs, SEO friendly URLs. That means actually website URLs are strict. For example, you see, um, suppose I open a browser. In this browser, so actually this browser is having, yeah, this browser is having this box. What do you call this as? Actually, it is browser address bar. Address bar. But these days, now people call it as search bar. That is, we have a technical reason for that. That means earlier, and actually it is address bar. Now people call it as search bar, but actually it is address bar. Browser have a title bar and an address bar. And why the difference is, I will tell you one point. In old web designing, means I will just tell you that, for example, suppose uh, you are using internet from recent generation of uses. In the early days of internet, when internet started, right? In India, people started using internet extensively from 1996-97. From that time, people started. We used to have daily networks and all. Do you know, even today, I have my old diary. In that diary, I have a list of website address noted down. Why? Because to browse internet, we go to internet point. I am talking about the situation of cyber caves. Internet points were very famous at that time. We don't have internet at home. We need to go there per hour, 80 rupees, 100 rupees. We need to pay to use internet. Do you know? We take a diary, we type the website address, and sometimes we returned back without browsing anything because website address was wrong. Right now, you people may laugh at that. Like, what you are saying? You are saying that website address is wrong and you haven't watched anything. Yes, that means the browser address bar is strict and strong type. If you miss one character or word, earlier we don't have search engines. We don't have much search engines. Search engines later came. Google, Yahoo, all these search engines. Then problem is browser address bar is very strict. If you miss the address, it cannot open anything. You miss a small character, it cannot open. But now you can type some words. What it does, it will use some default search engine and it will pass those words into that search engine and it will show you relative. Even your spelling is wrong, it will suggest you saying that, asking that, do you mean this? That means now an website or anything on web can be searched just by using some words. That is because of routing. That is because of routing. We don't have routing earlier. Routing made this possible. That means we can search anything directly from address bar. User friendly URL. Earlier, remembering URL visiting again and again is difficult, but routing made it easy. Earlier, we don't have this technique in web designing. Later, this concept added. Routing is a technique which makes the URLs user friendly. User can directly search what he wants from address bar. Observe, see. Suppose I am using something like Amazon. In Amazon, I want to search for watches or mobiles. I don't need to use search bar. I don't need to use this search bar of Amazon. In the address bar itself, I can type directly slash watches. It will get me watches information. That means the URL allows to query directly. Earlier, it is little complicated, very risky. But if you have observed, it is not using the same word I am defining. It is adding some more query. You see, it added some more query. Actually, I typed here what I want to search. I want to search mobiles and it will get me the mobiles related data. That means it will get me the mobile related information. That means it allows to search through URL, which is difficult earlier. Now it become easy. So actually it is not search bar. It is an address bar. If any default search engine is not attached, you can delete default search engine for browser. If you delete, it can't search. It will open exactly the URL. It cannot give you the related. So technically, how this is possible? That is possible because of what? Routing. So what is meant by user friendly URL? So user friendly URL allows to query any content directly from address bar. That is user friendly URL. Another important is SEO friendly URL. SEO friendly URL means again same concept. For example, do you know in the beginning of YouTube, when YouTube started in the beginning, when YouTube started, people started using YouTube initial days. For example, I was watching YouTube and I searched approximately 15-20 minutes and finally I found one video on YouTube. And I want to show the same video to my friend. Then I forget all these 15 minutes what I searched, where I searched. And if I want to show that video again to that person, again, I have to search again. And I forgot several searching parameters because 15-20 minutes I worked and I finally got it. And again, I want the same information. I forgot to bookmark. If you forget to bookmark, again going to that location is difficult. We don't know where it is. Now, what YouTube do? It can even start where you stopped playing the video. That is good analytics. But who knows that where you left? That information is provided to analytic will show you all relative contents. That is also done with routing only. That means routing enables to know exactly where they left, and it can give that location easily to the search engines or analytics. What analytics can do is they can just start from where you stop. That is possible. Suppose you are reading a PDF document, you scroll and you watched some location, and next day you open, it can continue from there. From which page you stopped, it can continue from there. These all are possible with a concept called routing. That means routing is actually navigation, but along with navigation, it makes user friendly URLs, SEO friendly URLs. That means what routing can do, it allow it allows to to any specific location, navigate to any specific location, and can identify the exact location. So exact location in a single page application in a spa. So what is the specialty here is it enables simplified navigation and querying for resources in web application. It enables simplified navigation and simplified querying for resources. Without routing, querying navigation is little complicated, but now it becomes easy. Actually, routing can be configured both server side and client side. Both are there. Server side routing is there, client side routing is also there. Routing can be configured both server side and client side. can be configured both server side, client side. That means routing is not just only for React. Server side also we have routing. Generally, you can do that in APIs. When you design APIs, you will have server side routing. Server side application also can have routing. You can use routing. Usually, that we will see with one project, one example we will see. That means if you are learning any server side technology, you learn how to create APIs, then you can create routes server side. Already we saw fake store slash products. That is the route which returns all the products. That means I will tell you one point here. See, actually, server side routes are used in server app or in API. Client side routes are used in client libraries or frameworks. Client side routes are used in client libraries or frameworks. So server side routes and client side routes we are having. Client side and server side routes. Means I will show one small concept that is just an optional one. Usually, so I will show without route. Without route, your URL can be something like amazon.in slash some like what products dot page, some JSP, PHP, ASP, anything server side page, question mark, category is equal to electronics. So brand, suppose the product is equal to mobile, like this we are having, and brand is equal to something like some Samsung, like this. So with the route, it can be something like http colon double slash amazon.in slash products slash electronics slash mobile slash Samsung. It can be simple. That means earlier, even now we use query string. Generally, when to use query string, I will show you. When we submit using form, you know that form submits as query string only. If a form is submitting data on GET request, by default it is query string. We will see both combination with query string and route how they work. This becomes little simplified. So you can just get the products, electronics, mobile, Samsung. It will return all of them. So routing makes the URLs simplified, and it is very important in single page applications. Why? Because generally in your multi-page applications, you will have links that navigate from one location to another. Here, everything is on one page only. You need to access components in one page. Then routing plays the key role. Let's see how the routing actually works. Now tell me, in JavaScript, navigation not in HTML. In JavaScript, navigation is managed by whom? Which object handles navigation in JavaScript? In HTML, link will manage anchor. In JavaScript, who is responsible for handling navigation from one position to another? That is done by location object. JavaScript have a location object. This location object is responsible for handling navigation within the page from one page to another. It can use href. Href is for navigating to any specific location outside the page. Inside the page, you can use location dot hash. Inside the page, if you want to navigate, you can use location dot hash. That is actually navigating from one location to another within the page, outside the page. JavaScript will do that. That means in actual DOM, navigation is managed by these two. So a simple point, in a actual DOM, dynamic navigation is managed by using location object, by using location object. Location href, location hash. Now in virtual DOM, so React uses React router DOM library for handling navigation. In virtual DOM. So React uses React router DOM library, that is the library for handling navigation in virtual DOM. In actual DOM, directly location object is responsible. In virtual DOM, the navigation is managed by using this DOM. There are so many techniques of writing navigation. I will explain. We will learn about that. First, we will see how navigation works with a component. Components are present, using that how we define the navigation. Later we will create a file based routing also. We'll see that, because depends in project according to requirement, they use different techniques. I will show both techniques. First thing, this router DOM is not a library that comes with React. We have to separately install, and it is independent from React. Independent from React means React version is different, router DOM version is different. You can't wait up to React version. Before the React version changes, means a new version comes, router may change. That means you need to keep on tracking this router library separately. Why? Because sometimes it changes before React changes. Suppose you are using React 19, current router version is 7. It may update to 8 and your company may be still using 7. That means React version is 19, but router version, different companies may be using different versions. Some companies are still using version 6, and now we are using version 7. And actually, version 7 completely changed. Generally, what a developer expect when a new version is released, he think that some new changes already existing thing continues, some additionally new things may be added. But unfortunately, problem with this router dome is completely new. That means it is completely different from its old version. So many changes they made in such a way they rewritten, redesign. That's the reason old version routing looks different from new version routing. So we are going to see the new. Old version is outdated. We migrated. We are migrating from old to new. So you visit this website. This is router dome. Router dome. React router dome. Yeah. This is React router dome official library. Where is it? Yeah. This is the official React router dome. React router related official. And you can see that. So this version currently it is 7. The version is 7 and it is good for React 19. So but several companies are still using version 6. So you have to migrate from 6 to 7. And for that some commands and settings they provide. If you run them, it will change. From React 19, 18, 18, 19 versions, we use the routers 6 and 7. And very latest currently is 7. And when you install, you will get this 7 version only. The latest version you will get. If you want to install old version, you have to give at the net version number. Then it will install the old version, right? Now we will see the latest. So in 18, 19 version of React, this is used, right? And let's see what are the changes. Means how do we set up? Let's see how we can set the version. So first point is you have to install router dome library. So latest version is 7. npm install react router dome. You have to install the router dome library, right? Next, after installing, to set up routing, there are two techniques. We can use components or we can create separate route object and we can implement. Suppose you are designing an application where routing is fixed routing. That means we don't regularly change. So we don't add anything, we don't remove anything, everything is fixed. In that case, better you write all the routes in one file, one component, and use it. Usually that component will be startup component. Which component starts? In that component, you put the routing. No, routing is regularly changing. That means sometimes we need to make some changes regularly. Every few days, some new routes are added, means some new components are added, some components are removed. Regularly changes are happening. Then better maintain in a separate file. If you maintain routes in a separate file, we can easily extend, we can easily modify the routes. That depends on requirement. Both are used. I will show you both technique. Now, how the concept works actually. See how the route concept actually works. A overview I will give you. Generally, routing, how the concept of routing works for our applications. Yeah. See, suppose we have this is the client. So we have the client. So client is the user. So we have client. Okay. Now we are having an application. So this is our React application. So this is React app. So we have client and we have the React application. This is our React application. Now in this application, so we are having some components. That means it is having login, one component. Okay, similarly like register, another component. Okay, like I just yesterday we created some weather. Like this, we have components. Now, what happens is when client makes a request, actually, this request comes to web server. We usually have a web server. I will not go much about servers inside servers and all. That is for people who are learning back-end web designing. They need to know about what happens in server, inside server. For us, basic points are enough. So when you have a web server, this web server will have actually web server is called HTTP server. Web server is also called as HTTP server. Generally, this HTTP server will have a HTTP processing pipeline. We will have a HTTP processing pipeline and it will have a application pool. Application pool will be there. Application pool is nothing but application pool. It configures what applications are supported on server. That means Java application, .NET application, PHP, Python, React, Angular. Which application, what type of applications are supported, they are defined here. If you remove one type from this pool, those type of apps cannot run on server anymore. That means I can remove a Java app pool from app pool. Then Java apps cannot run, right? If I want to run .NET apps, then I have to add that .NET into the application pool. This is not required for your general level of, this is for architect people. But basic point I will give here. What is the concept is in this application pool in the web server, you will have a HTTP handler. We have a HTTP handler. And what is the purpose of this HTTP handler is it handles the request from the client. For example, now client makes a request. So client is going to make a request. When client makes a request, so client will make a request to, yeah, client makes a request to the server and suppose the request is like this. That means the request is HTTP colon double slash. So your 127.0.0.1. So 5163 something port number and a slash. He requested some login. That means what is the client request? Client request is in your React app. There is a login. He is requesting that login. Now, when the request is made, the request will come to web server. In the web server, request is verified by using handler. Handler will verify whether the request is good, bad. It will check because URL, parameters, everything correctly configured. It will verify. Now, if request is correct, that means it is perfect. Then what happens is here, when we create a React app, every React application actually, every React application will have a table. Every React application will have one table. It will have a table. We call this table as React application table. This table is called as, we call this table as route table. It will have a route table. This route table contains information about the routes. That means it contains information about the route path. It will have route path and it will have the component. Just roughly, I'm giving the component like this. That's nothing but that means here the route path will be something like this. The route path will be like slash login. Okay. And on login, what is the component to be delivered? The delivered component is login. Similarly, all the routes are configured here. That means you have another, let's say weather. That means which component it will do. So it will get the component called weather. So like this, whatever components are available and those components related routes are defined here. Remember, every component is not in the route table. Route table contains only few. Observe, see what happens is in Amazon, when I showed you in Amazon, I am searching slash, I typed mobiles. Then mobiles related data came. That's good. I am typing slash watches. Watches related data came. I am typing here as suppose TV and you can see TV related information came. For example, I am typing here slash some footwear and enter. It is saying not found. Sorry, page not there. Amazon is not having footwear. It is having. Then why it is not showing? That means Amazon is having footwear related data. Then why it is not showing? Mobiles it is showing, TV it is showing, watches it is showing, and footwear it is not showing. Why? Because footwear related information is present in their app, but they don't have a direct access to that. That means there is no route by that name. That means every component cannot be given to you directly. Some components you need to browse through some resources. That means you can't directly access. Then it becomes heavy. That means, for example, if you visit website like Just Dial, you see website 5.3 crore business are there on Just Dial. That means you can search for 5.3 crore businesses. Means how many routes? 5.3 crore routes they will design. That's difficult. That means every business one route not possible. That means they will give routes only for very frequently used. Others you should access through other navigation technique. Directly they are not accessible. That means user is requesting something because see, I will tell you a simple thing. We learned controlled components, uncontrolled components. Controlled components are accessed inside parent. Can we access directly? No, they are also components, but we should not allow to access directly. Then what we do, we don't mention them in routes. When we don't mention them in routes, anybody tries to access them directly, they will not open. They will not open. That means everything is not in the route table. That means what is the key point here? Route table is important. Suppose user requests here instead of login, he requests register. Now tell me what will happen. It will say register not found. But actually register component is there. Then why it is not found? Because there is no route for it. Then you cannot access it directly. You can use it inside another component, but you cannot access directly because there is no route for that. There is no route for that. That means here, what you mentioned in this, what will happen now is when you make a request to the web server, the server will use the handler, will verify whether the request is correct or not. After that, it will send that request to a routing engine. We will have a route engine. That means in modern web applications, we will have route engines. What is the responsibility of route engine is it will verify the requested path and the route table. It will check whether the requested path is available in the route table, matching with the route table. If it is matching with the route table, then what will happen? If it is matching with the route table, that means what you mentioned is matching and it is available in the route table. If it is available in the route table, now what will happen? That component will be loaded. That component will be loaded. And this component will be sent as response. That means what it is going to do? It is going to send that component as what? Response. That means a response will go back and it will render that response to the client. It is going to render the response to the client, request and response. And if that component is not present, then actually it returns the results like 200 for OK, 404 for what? Not found. It will return the status codes and it will clearly tell what is the problem. That is how actually routing works in an app. That means every application that navigates using routes will have a route table. Now, what is our job is to create this table. We have to create a route table. All these days, you have components, but you cannot access directly. Weather component, every day, what you are doing, if you observe, go to main. In the main, you put a startup as the component that you design. No, no need of that. In the startup, one component will be there. Every day, which component you want, you just put a slash and enter the component name, it will load. That is not possible now. Why? Because there is no such table designed for our app. We have to design. We have to design. Let's see how. That means we have to create a route table. And to create this route table, manage the route table, there are so many points we will see. So, second concept here, the diagram I will upload into class. That architecture diagram I will upload. Okay, so now the point is after you install this, router library provides built-in components to configure a virtual route table. So what is route table? We know. So here we have the components: browser router, routes, route, outlet, link, navigate. These are all important. These are all important components. We can do without them also. I will show you. These are built-in components, ready-made. Browser router, actually, it interacts with actual DOM. It interacts with actual DOM. It configures a route collection, routes collection. That means actually table. It configures individual routes. It defines the outlet to render route result, which you learn. It navigates. It is used to configure a static navigation link. It is used for dynamic navigation. Navigate. So these are important components. So required for configuring the route. So syntactically, you will have a browser router. Inside the browser router, we have routes. Inside the routes, we have a route. Every route will have a path, and every route will have a element. So all the navigation must be inside this browser router. So let's see one example here. Right. See, I already explained, and one more time I am telling that it's a very big concept. You are just in the beginning. So much is there to learn about it. So no hurry in questions. Okay. Because it will take at least 3, 4, or you can say 1 week sessions to understand the complete process of routing with application. Then you will get a clarity that, okay, these are all the points we have. Not, then we can have any doubts. If you have any doubts, you will not have doubts because all people, reasonable doubts will come, but they are still to be discussed. We will discuss them, right? What generally doubts come to a learner when we teach about routing? So, in a hurry, they want to know about it, but later you will learn. I will take all the doubts at the end because by the end, you will not ask me anything. End means end of routing because we know what are used in real world, how they are used, what are needed. So much is there, and it is not the same way everywhere. I will explain all scenarios. We'll see that. Let's see. First point is, let's go to our project. This is our application. So in this application, suppose we are configuring like this. So I will create a separate folder in our SRC. I am creating a separate folder. This is suppose tutorials. Some tutorials is a folder. In that, I am adding one file, tutorial index dot jsx. Tutorial index dot jsx. This is tutorial index. Now that's a simple markup I'm having. Yeah. Container fluid. Okay. So this is tutorial index. Fine. I will have another tutorial home JSX. Okay, this is tutorial home. Fine. We will have another one. Suppose Java tutorial dot JSX. This is Java tutorial. Okay. I have another file React tutorial dot JSX. Some React tutorial. Okay, let it be like this. That means we are designing one tutorial app. Application will start with tutorial index. It will start with this index. From there, user should able to go everywhere. There are Java tutorials, React tutorials, UI, so many locations. Now we will go to the main. The startup will be which one? The startup will be tutorial index. It will start with tutorial index. From here, they should able to access everything. So what I will do is I will go to tutorial index because it is in the startup. Here we need to set up the complete navigation. Then first thing, you have to install npm install React Router DOM and save. We have to install React Router DOM library. It is done. After installing the React Router DOM library, npm run dev. It will start. Let it start. It is currently empty. Nothing is there. Fine. Okay, let's go and design. Here, all the navigation should work. So everything must be inside browser router. Browser router. All the navigation related must be inside this browser router. It is just like a scope. Outside the scope, routing related anything you mention, it will not work. Routing related, every concept will work only inside this scope. Just like I told you, context have a scope. Context start, context end. So similarly, router start, router end. Everything should be inside this. Now in this, I am creating a header, and the header will have a span. So font size to font weight bold, I give here tutorial, yeah, tutorial index. Tutorial index is the main. So this is just for your understanding sake. Okay. Now what I will do, just this is a header. Yeah. Class BG dark, text white, and padding 2. That's fine. That's the tutorial index we are having. Text center. That's okay. We are having this part now. Now below this, everything I should able to access. That means inside index, everything should come. That means React tutorial, Java tutorial, everything I should able to access here. And see here in the section, I want to access everything. Then section contains routes. It contains routes. What are the routes we have? First route is, every routes is a collection of routes. Every route have a path. So every route is having a path. Make sure that the route is imported. Yeah. Every route will have a path. Path is slash. Slash indicates if user is not requesting anything, what to do. If user is not requesting anything, then by default home should come. If user is not requesting anything, by default home should come. That means which element you want to render. I want to render tutorial home. Am I right? That is the component to render. That means you can see that by default, the tutorial home will come, but home is empty. Let's go to home and design. Here I will put a heading saying that this is so technology tutorials. So I will say welcome to technology tutorials home. I'm just giving that word home. And here we will put some paragraph and we will say like React, so like .NET, so like Java, like this I'm using something roughly. And you see these all will come. If I'm not requesting anything by default, if I'm not requesting anything, I will keep this margin top 4, then little down. If I am not requesting anything, see, I am not requesting anything, then by default home will come. If user requests React, React should come, Java, Java should come. Then what we will do is here, we will go to Java tutorial and we will put a heading. This is like Java tutorial, something like this I am adding. Okay. And here we will put some videos or anything they can have. For example, I will copy some YouTube and some tutorials like Java or something is there. So, okay, suppose I'm adding some tutorial, some Java tutorial is there, and so I will add one copy. Actually, this is not the list we need. Every tutorial have a video code will be there. So roughly I will take one and okay, this is the video code. I will copy this code. That is the video code. I am roughly using it, and see here I am adding an iframe, and in the iframe, so width is some 400, height is also 400. Iframe src is https youtube.com/embed and the code I have copied. Okay, now this is Java tutorial. Similarly, I will copy some React. That means some React tutorial. You can put some another video inside it. I will give the heading as what? React tutorial. Like this, we are adding. we are having some information. Now see what happens here. In the index, we need to create the route. What is the route path? Route, another route path. Route path is Java. Then which element should come? It should render which element? Java tutorial element should render. If request is route path, suppose it is for React, then which element should come? So React tutorial, that element should come. And see, I'm adding route path. Suppose if anybody is requesting weather, then element. Which element? Yesterday we created weather index. Huh? We will access that weather index. Like this, we configured the routes. Now see what will happen. In the address bar, user is selecting here, typing, what is it? Java. Then Java tutorial will come. Now user is requesting in the address React, then React tutorial will come. If user is requesting here, what else we have? Weather, then the weather app will come. That app will come inside it. Will come inside. That means it is inside tutorial. That means we are able to access. If I am not requesting anything, then it will get this one. And you requested something and it is not there. Suppose I am requesting Python and it is not there. Then what should happen? Then what we have to do is we need to define a route with a path. As if path is asterisk, asterisk indicates, we call it wildcard route, means they requested something and it is not there. Then what should happen? Element. Remember, this element is not a just component. You can design any markup directly. It's not like a component. You can directly design some markup. Means how we can put a div. In that we can put a heading, say not found. So, and I can put some paragraph. In the paragraph page, you requested not found, like this. And I will keep this as text danger. And you can see if user is requesting here slash Python, and it will show that. That means it's not like you render only the result. You can render any error. That means if requested is not there, then it will display. That we can define by using the wildcard routes. That means here route is having so many points actually. So here another important. So right. Every route is configured with a path and element to render. That means we have route, path, and we have element. Here the key point is, so path is equal to slash. What it does? Request element to render when the request is not for any specific. It requests the element to render when the request is not for any specific. And if path is asterisk, what does it means? Renders the element when requested path not found. Element, it can be any markup or a component. It can be any markup or component. You can render any markup or component. But we don't expect every time to render a request from URL. We design links. Through links, user can navigate. How you can create a link? So that means you can configure link element to handle navigation. Actually, link component. How? So it uses link to the path you have to mention. So we can have a text or image or anything you can put inside the link. It's just like anchor. Have href, link have to. Right? So that is nothing but see. In index page, what we do in index page, suppose below the header, I'm adding a nav. I'm adding a navigation for, so I'm just using the navigation. Inside this text center, okay, in this I'm adding a span. So mx is 2, 4, okay. Here we are having a link. This link is home. That link is home. And here we are using other options like next one. This is a link home means link to slash, that is home. We have another one. This is Java. That means it should link to which path? Java. It should link to the Java. Okay. And another one is React. It should link to React. That is the React path. And it should link to weather. So we have weather. It should link to weather. Okay. You see now the route contains the links here. I click on Java, Java tutorial will load, React tutorial will load, weather will load. That means we are requesting and it is accessing that content and displaying. Actually, what it is doing, it is setting that in the URL. In the URL, it is changing. That means user will stay on only one page and access everything on that page. That is actual single page application. Single page application means not the meaning that it have one page. It is meaning that user stays on only one page and can access everything onto that page. And that is possible using these routes. Now, whatever you designed, you can link there, right? This is the basic of route. But very important is this route navigation is not means this file configuration is not great every time, because if your routes are fixed, they don't change, then it's okay. But routes will be regularly changing, some new will be added, some will be removed, it's very frequent, then better maintain in a separate file, because currently routes are along with design. Header, section, footer, along with the design, you are using the routes. That's not a good idea. If it is regularly changing, maintain the routes in a separate file. That means you can maintain this in a separate file so that whenever you want, you can change them easily. Easy to extend, cleanly separated, easy to maintain, test the routes. For that, we need to learn how to create object-based routing. That I will show in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. First you try this. I will copy this, right? And now I am sharing a Git link also. There you will get all this project, right? And in this project, now we will first learn all the routing concept. Then we will go into designing one app so that we can easily implement. Okay. Tomorrow we will continue. Routing is not done. It will take at least 4 or 5 sessions to understand complete routing. This is just basic. What you learned today, how to configure basic routes so that user will stay on one place and can access everything. There are so many things which we will see tomorrow. Okay.